You checked the box that said royalty free. You felt covered. Then a cookie company got sued this year for exactly that assumption. 159 songs, a real lawsuit, a real label, not a hypothetical. Here are two cases from this year worth knowing about, because they did not happen to small operators cutting corners. Warner Music Group should crumble the cookie company in April, alleging the brand used at least 159 of Warner's copyrighted songs across promotional TikTok and Instagram videos without proper licensing. Around the same time, major record labels filed suit against DSW, one of the largest shoe retailers in the country, over popular song used in social ads and influencer campaigns, again without the licensing that use actually required. These are not scrappy startups. These are companies with marketing departments, legal counsel, and presumably someone who thought the music situation was handled. That last part is the detail worth sitting with. Somewhere inside each those moment companies, someone almost certainly believed the music was cleared. The gap wasn't recklessness, it was an assumption nobody circled back to verify. Under the US copyright law, damage for cases like this can run from $750 up to $150,000 per infringed work. Multiply that by 159 songs, and you can see why this stopped being a rounding error the moment it reached a courtroom. So, where does the gap actually come from? It usually starts with one small misunderstanding. Royalty free does not mean risk free. It means you are not paying an ongoing royalty every time the track plays. That is the entire promise. It says nothing about what platforms you are allowed to use it on, what length of content it covers, or whether your specific use case falls inside the license at all. Even paid, properly licensed music can still trigger a claim if the documentation behind that license was never sought out correctly, or if the track is registered in a system like YouTube's Content ID and your paperwork doesn't match what the platform expects to see. Here is a specific trap worth knowing. Trending audio inside a platform's short-form library is often licensed only for content under 60 seconds. They take exact same audio and drop it into a long-form video, and you can trigger a claim or strike even though the track felt free the entire time you were using it. None of this requires bad intent. It just requires nobody on the team reading the actual scope of the license before it got used. Licenses get purchased by one person forward to an editor, reused 6 months later for a completely different campaign, and by third or fourth reuse, nobody left in the chain remembers what the original terms actually said. The license doesn't expire quietly. The assumption around it just drifts further from what was actually paid for. A claim or a lawsuit is not only a legal cost. It disrupts a campaign that was already running, sometimes mid-flight right when it was starting to perform. It puts your brand's name next to a headline about a copyright dispute, which is not the association any marketing team was aiming for. And it's time from people who should be running the business, not responding to the takedown notice. At Multi Music, this is one of the quieter reasons custom brand music matters. When the music is written as specifically for you, there is no license scope to misread, no platform restriction buried in fine print, no ambiguity about whether this use case was covered. You own it outright. And there is a practical upside beyond avoiding the lawsuit. Custom music also solves the platform length problem we mentioned earlier, since it isn't tied to a short-form license that quietly stops applying the moment your video runs a few seconds too long. If you want a fuller picture of why generic, borrowed music creates problems for a brand beyond just the legal exposure, we covered that broadly in another video, worth watching alongside this one. So, here is the practical step, and it takes less time than you'd think. Pull up the license for whatever music is currently running across your active campaigns. Check the platform it was cleared for. Check the length restriction. Check whether the use case you're actually running match what was purchased. Most teams have never done this because royalty-free sounded final enough to stop asking questions. Crumble and DSW probably assumed the same thing, right up until they didn't. Let's build sound your brand actually owns. Now sound your brand is quietly borrowing under terms nobody double-checked.